The mayor of Newark, New Jersey was arrested outside a newly opened immigration detention facility in his city today. Mayor Ras Baraka had been protesting the opening of that facility, given the Trump administration is planning to use it as part of the president's plan to sharply increase the number of detention beds. That's when this happened. The man you see there being arrested, wearing the brown coat and the hat, that is Mayor Ras Baraka. Witnesses say that the mayor was arrested after he tried to join a tour of the facility with 3 Democratic members of New Jersey's congressional delegation today. There was yelling and pushing after federal officials were blocking his entry. The mayor, who is running for governor, was arrested after he had returned to the public side of the gates. In a statement that came after that arrest, the Department of Homeland Security said that the lawmakers had not asked for a tour of the facility and that as a bus carrying detainees was entering, quote, a group of protesters, including 2 House members, stormed the gate and broke into the detention facility. And Mayor Ras Baraka was just released from custody and is my source tonight. And Mayor, thank you for joining me. Can you just describe what has been happening over the last few hours while you were being held?
Well, I mean, I just want to first say that the guys from Homeland Security were very respectful. They treated me with dignity, and I appreciate that. You know, while I spent my last few hours in holding area inside of I believe it's a detention facility that they have here in the city of Newark. You know, that the Homeland Security has. So, you know, it wasn't unbearable, but it was definitely you know, a humiliating experience and uncomfortable for me overall. But you know, in the end, those guys did the best that they could to make me feel comfortable, and I appreciate that.
And you were there protesting the opening of this facility. I know this has been something that you have been arguing against. Can you just take us back to what happened earlier today when you showed up? You were there on the ground with other members of Congress who are joining you. And I mean, we've seen this dramatic scene play out. Tell me what happened from your perspective.
Well, I'm going to say as much as I can without violating, you know, what they asked me to do in court. But, you know, I actually didn't come there to protest. I was there that morning with the fire inspector trying to serve them, as we've been doing for the last few days. We're in court with them now. The fire inspector usually puts a tag on a gate, and we leave. This happens every day. At 1 o'clock, the Congress people, Menendez, MacGyver, and Bonnie Watson Coleman, Congress people from the state of New Jersey, was going into the facility, and they said that they had been granted entry into the facility and was having a press conference. Afterwards, I came to attend the press conference as I was asked to. You know, obviously, ICE after a while made a determination after somebody came and said that we shouldn't be there. And began to, after they told us to leave, we left, and they began to try to arrest me. I shouldn't say us. They targeted me and came after me specifically and arrested me.
Alina Habba, who, just for people who may not be familiar, she's President Trump's former attorney. She is now the interim U.S. attorney in New Jersey, in your state. The way she puts what happened today is she is accusing you of ignoring multiple warnings from Homeland Security investigations to remove yourself, and says that you chose to, quote, disregard the law. Is that true? Had there been warnings? What had happened?
Well, absolutely not. I mean, we could. The reality is, Alina Habba wasn't there. The U.S. attorney wasn't there. She doesn't know what happened. Clearly, that is not the context of what happened. I was there for over an hour in that space, and nobody ever told me to move. I was in there for over an hour. Not a single person, not an officer from ICE, not any of the security guards. Nobody told me to leave that place. Somebody from Homeland Security came in the end and began to escalate the situation, and we wound up being where we are today. And that's, frankly, the extent of it. I didn't go there to break any laws. I didn't break any laws. I was there as the mayor of the city, exercising my right and duty as an elected official, you know, supporting our Congress people, preparing for a press conference that was supposed to happen there. I did not enter that place unlawfully. I did not break any laws, and so all of that is incorrect. So she was not there, so she should get some better information.
How did it get so heated? I mean, you can watch this playing out, and we see you, and everyone starts shoving, people start yelling. What did the Homeland Security official that you said came up, and the first one who tried to arrest you?
Well, they tried to arrest me. As you can see, he tried to arrest me. As you can see, I'm calm. I'm not doing anything. I'm just walking. We got out of the gate. They, I guess, made a decision to come around the gate after we left to arrest me outside of the gate. So they did that. They arrested me outside of the gate. Obviously, protesters and the Congress people were upset. They tried to intervene. And so, I thought it would be better for us to just go ahead with these guys and so we not cause further kind of disruption there.
Were you trying to go into the gate?
No, I was already inside. I didn't have to try to go in.
Okay.
I was there for about over an hour.
I wonder what you've been in detention, so you've been being held, so obviously you haven't seen any of the coverage. The response from others, including some people inside the administration, is pointing to the fact that you're a Democrat and you're running for governor in your state and accusing you of basically conducting a publicity stunt. And I wonder what you would say to them tonight.
Well, I think the publicity stunt is this idea that we should violate the court orders, violate the Constitution of the United States, that we should run roughshod over state and local laws. The reality in America is that if we're having a dispute, then we settle it in the court. The city of Newark has a dispute with GEO about a certificate of occupancy, about them allowing our inspectors in the buildings, health inspectors and fire inspectors, who they've been rejecting every day. Every day we go there, we put the thing on the door and we leave. We're in court right now. They dispute that. They dispute that they should have an updated certificate of occupancy. They haven't had one in 20 years. We say that they need one because the local law demands that they have to get a change of use. They dispute that, and that's their right to dispute it. But the person that settles that is a judge in a court of law, not the President of the United States, not the U.S. Attorney, not ICE or Homeland Security. That is solved by a judge here in this state, and they even moved it to federal court, so the judge has to weigh in on this, and a magistrate. They can't just take matters into their own hands and do what they want, extra legal action outside of the courts, and that's exactly what's going on here.
What's your understanding of what happens next year? Were there conditions to your release? What was discussed before you left today?
Well, I mean, I obviously was charged with federal trespassing and, which is a Class C misdemeanor. But, going through this is just really humiliating and painful. But the reality is this is what democracy is, right? And so, we are in dispute here, and we just living in a time period now where if you are opposed to the ideas of people, you could be threatened with arrest or intimidation, and that's exactly what's happening. And that's not the America that we want to be in. That's not the America that people chose to move thousands of miles from around the world to. This is not this place, and they're turning it into an authoritarianist government.
Do you have any regrets about how today happened?
No, I don't have any regrets at all. I went down there to support my Congress people, my Congresswoman from my district, Congresswoman Blondie Watson-Coleman as well, who is like a mother to us here, and Congressman Menendez, who's also from our district. I went down there to support them in a press conference, and I would do it again. I have a right to go to those facilities as the mayor of the city. A fire inspector has a right to be on those facilities, and it is not federal property. It's in fact private property. GEO is privately owned. It's a private prison that these people are getting $63 million to do this work, and they have to abide by local laws. That's just a fact. I don't care what our political differences is. They still have to abide by the law.
Mayor Ras Baraka, I know you've had quite an eventful few hours. Thank you for joining us so quickly after your release tonight.